Sure, I cannot hear my name. Wanted my home, my dose of fame. Wanted my parking space in the morning. But I was king. I wanted to have one fear. It's the smell. Keep doing that. Smells. See them condition. Well, it was scary. So I said, all the time. Waiting that smile would be unaware. Dreams when I passed to the floor, in a moment score. Smile, smile for someone's laughs, kiss someone's voice, kiss someone's ass, do whatever it is. Smile, getting there is only the beginning. Say, hold it hard, jump hard, hold it hard. Once you go on away. You think I've seen another dead, right? I've seen other things keep thoughts break the earth, it's 24 hours, it's not the service. And if I'm honest, I like the lady I waters, her body watching the sunset. Well, I'm a writer. LA's changed a lot over the years since those brave gold rush pioneers. Farms they can go and on the line. That things are mine. Those dreams were. These songs see them are spontaneous refined of false emotion. Silence said them are. Just like it will wind up in the ocean. She was sinking fast, I threw a rope. Now I assume since she has hope, it seemed an elevation. Still I'll enjoy what tomorrow is. Silence said, for the stormy hearted. Silence said, for the stormy hearted. Silence said, silence said, for the stormy hearted. Silence said, you're on the sliding stage, oh love.
The National Football League welcomes you to the Apple Music Super Bowl 59 halftime show.
Say, hey.
Everybody must be judged, but But this time, God only favoring us. 20 years, he still got that king dedicated to bare hard truth. And he speak with a vision and tongue. Trying to get this time, it's carrying heavy our hearts right now, like a power live for the Olympians too. Carrying various darts right now, and deserve this art like tiramisu. We go body for body, I need you a body, I'm probably a better masseuse. Really don't bother nobody, but they running by me, you'll find out we off the booth. When I get a picture of fire, the city fire was in front of the booth. When I have a soul, even if I had told you to stand next to Johnny and Q. Thought he would never be government cues, but now it seems the government clue. We the fools, that color was pink and brown, but now the 102. Remember I said on the greatest, that king of the bed is the number one and number two. Topic was always a lyric, you feel me, you carried up to me, I brought that rock. The revolution about to be televised, picked the right time, but the wrong guy. Life goes on, honey, all my babies.
Is he going? And unless they do.
Billy, where's the shotgun ammo?
Rebecca, where am I?
You're safe now. Are you okay? What could have done this?
They must have been used as test subjects in Marcus's research. He must have kept messing around with the mother virus.
Billy?
I'll check it out.
Okay,
This way.
Roger.
Look. Come on, a bit more, please.
Don't feel good.
That's nothing. Ow. Look. Lazy. What did you want to show me? You want me to see something?
No, I want to put my practical.
That was it? What's Hulk and Loki doing? What did Leia do? She's funny. She's funny. Give her a Bessa.
Doing that, it is hard to see them getting where they want to be this year because these numbers will rear its head sooner rather than later if they haven't already. So, guys and gals, I would like to thank you all so much, everyone that chimed in and watched the show live or on replay. Please make sure to hit that like and one who, of course, is a fallen hero for this country. Today is a very important day across the land. I'm very aware of that, and I just can't thank everyone enough who have not only served or actively
actively serving, and obviously the ones who made the greatest sacrifice for this great
Roger.
nation. But guys, in today's
Okay.
first game show, we have to get into the New York Mets getting absolutely carved up left, right, and center. But yeah, you guessed it, Adrian Hauser. That schmuck a year ago was batting practice. Now he goes over 6 shutty against this team. Thankfully, in the end, the baseball gods knew that even the White Sox were, of course, the White Sox, and the boys needed to get this Game 1 victory after securing the series victory just a night ago against the LA Dodgers. I mean, are we really going to drop the first game of a 3-game set against the Southside Chicago effing White Sox after winning 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers? I don't care. That's a 4 o'clock game. I don't care if you don't love starting your game this early on a Monday. The boys need to show up, and they were kind of lifeless for a good portion of this matchup. But folks, it ain't about how you start, it's about how you finish. I think that goes in direct hand, obviously, with a course of a 162 for this amazing Mets team, because they might not be in sole possession of first right now, but they got a lot of baseball to be had to suggest that they may in fact find themselves getting there, and hopefully sooner rather than later. We're going to talk about how good Clay Holmes looked in today's outing, how much of a schmuck the umpire yet again was. Another day that ends in Y, where the umpire is looking like Helen Keller because they cannot make the proper strike calls. We're going to break down everything to a T, and it's 139 in this matchup, everybody. But first and foremost, what I want to see is you guys spamming those W's as you first chime in live at replay. That really does mean a lot, guys. Continue to spam them right now to all the replay viewers. Again, in the comments down below, I want to see those W's spammed. And your biggest takeaway from tonight's 2-1 victory, this time in a walk-off fashion, as Francisco Lindor now has 3 of the Mets' first 5 walk-off victories this season. And entering today's ball game, folks, while Lindor did not 1.2 million Radio Broadway, driven by Mercedes Benz.
Let's split up.
Roger.
Hey, we're here with Tom Francis. Thank you so much for taking the time. So first of all, congratulations, your Broadway debut. I'm sure you're probably sick of this question so far, but how does it feel? First time.
I love it. I love Broadway. I love the community. I love the audiences. Everything about this place is just excellent.
Nothing let you down?
Nothing.
Fantastic. Because you came from something great already. So you won your Oliver.
Yeah.
Which, congrats. What do you feel like the difference has been between? And is that something that you think put more pressure on you, or did it kind of drive you to do even better?
Are you talking about with the show over here? I feel like I really wasn't expecting that to happen at home. I was really quite surprised when it happened, and so it was just a really nice sort of ending to that job. But I feel like the most enjoyable part of this job for me is doing the job every single night and holding Jamie's vision every single night and trying to execute that to the best of my abilities. And so I really try and sort of put the blinkers on that, because I feel like if you listen to everything else that's happening around you, then it can distract you, and I'm not going to do the best job that I can do.
That's fair. All right. So we have to talk about the beginning of Act 2.
Yes.
Incredible. What is it like having to stay in character you're walking through New York. It's crazy. Like, through the weather, what has that been like for you?
Yeah, it's quite nice because it's like I do stay in character, but also it's like I'm a little bit me at the same time. I feel, and that's the approach that I take to that, because like things happen that are funny sometimes, and so I just let that inform it, and I roll with the punches as we go out there, and if something happens or if somebody darts past me, I let my eyes go with them. Do you know what I mean? Like I really let it inform everything that happens.
Part of it.
Yeah, and not fight against it.
Okay. Is there one like standout moment that really took you by surprise or you found super amusing?
We had one lady who was dressed in like business casual, and she had joined the cast at one point.
Just walked in with
Yeah, and I had no idea until afterwards, and everyone was like laughing, and I was like, "What happened?" And they basically like told me there was like this woman who just like had joined the club, and she was just walking from like dead down the camera, just like ferociously, and it was quite a funny moment. Yeah, I know.
She's a queen.
I know.
So is this your first time living in New York?
I know. I lived here for 2 months. So I did a TV series here.
Okay. Oh, did you?
So-
What was it called?
It was called You.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
So excited. That's another day.
Yeah, very excited for that to come out.
It's going to be like blink if you die. No, I'm kidding. Don't tell me. But what is it like kind of getting used to New Yorkers? Because I know we are a very particular group of people.
I love New York.
Okay.
Yeah, I never want to leave. I think it really feels like home now.
No culture shock?
No.
Love that for you.
I love this place.
I've been here forever, and I still experience culture shock regularly, so good for you. So I feel like Broadway is a career for people with a lot of passion and a little bit of insanity. What do you do to take care of yourself on your days off?
I guess the farm house a lot. In Fahrenheit. I love that place. I go to the gym to just sort of calm my brain down. And then dinner is my favorite thing.
Particular go-to spot?
Yeah, it's just, there's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many. I love Waverly Inn. I love Isodi. I love, like, Bleecker Street Pizza.
Yeah.
Like, anywhere. I feel like you can just, this is the great thing about the city, is you can just, like, walk around and you just, like, stumble upon an incredibly cool little sports bar or some really cool restaurant that, like, no one's in, but it's excellent food.
Yeah. I know this doesn't speak to the quality, but I read a stat recently. You can eat somewhere different for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 30 some odd years before you double up in New York City.
I'm going to use that from now on.
Okay, have fun. Shoot it first, babe. I could be wrong. It's worse if you're wrong. So, for people who haven't seen Sunset Boulevard, why do they have to come?
Because it... I feel like this production of Sunset Boulevard is a complete reimagination of the rules of theatre. It almost feels like, and I don't know if this is like a bad analogy to use, but it almost feels like it's like jazz. You know what I mean? Like jazz is like, you have all of the rules. When you learn jazz and you start going to like a conservatoire to do jazz and stuff, you learn all of the rules of music and then you just break them. And you go along with it and you figure out what happens, and it just feels right or it doesn't feel right. And I feel like with this production, we kind of took all of the rules of theatre and then just broke them and get our own version. And so I feel like that's why you should come.
It's one of the best scenes from all the games. Like, you can hate on Last of Us Part 2 as much as you want, because I do hate much of it as well. But you cannot tell me that this scene didn't hit you like a fucking truck.
I'll see you around.
But the show just butchers it. They fail it so miserably. On every level it's worse, and it could be so great. So in this video, I go through some acting issues, directing, writing issues, also structural issues with the story itself and the placement of the scene. So, strap in. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Dimmy, I'm an actor. I like to make videos about storytelling and acting, such as this one. I got some vivid comment sections. I love it. There's healthy discussion. So if you see me, I got some vivid comment sections. I love it. There's healthy discussion. I got some vivid comment sections. I love it. There's healthy discussion. So if you see me in some low quality porn in the future, you know how to thank. Okay, let's go. Alright, the first problem. The scene in the show is actually a merging of two scenes from the games. And the first scene is where Ellie finds out that Joe lied from the Fireflies killed everyone in the hospital, and they couldn't make a cure out of it. That makes her very angry. And it's also, that's a visual cue, it's very important. It's at the scene of the crime in Salt Lake City at the hospital. And then 3 years or 2 years later, when she's 19, then comes the porch scene, where she's not angry anymore, because she had a few years to let it sit, let it simmer, and then calm down again. And then she wants to try to forgive Joe. And that's what the porch scene is about. Two emotionally and tonally very different scenes that make sense apart from each other. Because when they try to put it together, like, no amount of acting can fix that problem or bridge that gap. Because Ellie needs to be very outraged and angry at Joel, and the next second she needs to forgive him. So the distance between the two is not far enough. She needs to let it sit, and this is the reason why she moves out. And they have a distant relationship for a few years. And then she finally is able to forgive him. And now, the next day he dies and it's taken from her. This is why this scene is emotionally so strong. And this plays into the second problem. The timing of the scene, where they place it. They place it in the middle of the whole revenge saga. Ellie hasn't done anything yet. She didn't sacrifice anything and she didn't lose anything. In the games, this first scene is the last scene. And it's after we find out that Ellie loses everything. And then there comes the flashback of her trying to forgive Joel and he being very, very happy about it. And now you know why she had to do what she did. Because she was just about to find a way back into the relationship and then Ellie took that from her. This is why this scene is so bittersweet and hits so hard, because you now know what they could have done. And then, of course, Ellie is angry additionally because you know the situation must be, I wasted 3 years of being angry at that guy. And I know the whole time I love him, but I couldn't get over my own ego and anger to cherish that relationship until it was too late. This is strong storytelling. This is actually masterful. This is emotionally draining. I was devastated at the end because you see at the end of the game she loses everything and it was worth nothing. And then you also get the final nail in the coffin that they were just about to mend the relationship. This is A+ storytelling. Okay, and now we go through some acting. I do a comparison of the two scenes. Why one scene is acted very well, the other one isn't. And of course, the show already has a disadvantage because they start from a wrong place. They try to merge the scenes. The stakes are not sufficiently explained by putting it at the wrong time, so no amount of acting is going to bridge that gap. But still, when she confronted him with the decision he made to save her but kill all those people and ruin the cure, possibly not really, but okay, let's take that for granted. They couldn't make a cure because of him, because his, like she calls it, selfishness. He says, I would do it again. And it's saying it like this.
Somehow I can say chance at that moment. I would do it all over again.
Did you notice something? Like little quiz. What was he doing? That is very telling here. Write it in the comments, and now I go. He shook his head. He said like, I would do it all over again. He shook his head. It's a subconscious thing, and shaking of the head is always, 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 always. It's a sign of bewilderment, like, or disagreement. He's weakening the statement that he makes, where he should be enforcing it by being very still and composed and having a high status. So he's a weak man in that moment, where he shouldn't be. Like, nothing against weakness in men or whatever, but this is what we say when we criticize him for being weak and not like the Joel we know, because he's weakening his own statement. And you can say, and I was the same when I did my acting education, I was like, no, you shake your head sometimes, it's just like what people do sometimes, it doesn't mean anything, or it doesn't need to mean that. But this is, you see me right now, I'm doing it. It was subconscious, and then I noticed it's an archetype. We do things like when someone scores a goal at a soccer match, we go, it's joy. It's both hands raised. Like, you won't go like someone scores a goal and you are happy and you go like, yeah. No, it's an archetype. And shaking your head is always disagreement or like bewilderment. It's like, what the fuck? He does it, and I bet it's subconscious. And this is also a directing issue because they let it slide. They either wanted it, which is bad, or they didn't know it was happening, which is arguably worse. Because when you're on screen, especially on screen, but also on stage, even if you say sometimes people do things that really don't make sense and stuff, on stage and on screen, there's no place for that, because you have to communicate very straight and very fast and very clear. And so as an actor, that's why I'm probably not a very good film actor. And my face does all sorts of things, like I would need to control that and tone that down immensely to get good at close-up and screen acting. And Pedro Pascal is a very good screen actor. Nothing against him, but this was probably subconscious, and they let it slide, and it weakens the statement. And now, let's see what Troy Baker did.
Somehow Laura gave me a second chance at that moment. I would do it all over again.
and you see he looks at her. He holds eye contact. He's straight, almost aggressive, where a little bit more relationship comes through, that he's the adult here, and he's the father. So a little bit more authority, which is good, which the series completely butchers.
Ellie, it's not safe. Go back.
I'm not your fucking kid, Joel. I'm your partner. We'll stay together.
Oops, what's that? Doesn't matter. Anyways, let's go back to the game and try back to performance. It's maximum resolve. And you see what happens next?
Yeah.
She looks down. She lowers the status because she understands. And this is, by the way, a writing issue. That's the 5th problem now. We went through merging problem, we went through timing problem, acting problem, directing problem, and now the writing. In the show, she says, because you're selfish. And then he says, because I love you. That is writing efficiency. In the game, his statement, I would do it all over again, already says I love you. And her looking down says already, I understand. I know that it was not just selfishness. So this exchange was already handled way more beautifully. A beautiful merging of showing and telling. You know, not just showing, not just telling, but telling and showing at the same time. And the show just freaking explains it. It's so not well done. So we actually have the scene being worse on every level. And I'm really bewildered, you know, I'm shaking my head right now. I'm really bewildered that I got so many comments in the last video about the same episode that people really enjoyed this scene and really loved it. And for those people who are watching now, who thought that, who feel that, please tell me why. Because after what you just heard, if you watched my whole video, thank you for that, I really want to know. How could you call this scene really satisfying? At least with what you heard now, because maybe you didn't know the games, and now I hope you understand a bit more why it's just objectively worse. So I'm really curious. Why do you think this scene was a satisfying scene? I think the bar is just so low that you just don't expect much nowadays. Let me know in the comments. I'm reading all the comments. I really like that. And apart from that, I hope I see you in the next one.
And so, The Last of Us Season 2 stumbles and flops to its conclusion like a fat guy trying to pole vault in the middle of a storm of fan backlash, cratering audience scores, and viewing figures that HBO community has fucked anymore. In short, this season has been nothing short of a complete and total disaster. A boring, bleak, depressing, badly written slog of a show that actually strained the very limits of my endurance just to get to the ends. And I've watched The Acolyte.
We were on the brink of extinction!
And the thing that's so sad about this whole thing is that this disaster was entirely predictable. In fact, I predicted it months before the season even started in this video right here. But man, even I couldn't have imagined just how bad it was going to be. Apart from a couple of half-decent action set pieces where all that HBO money was on full display, and a performance from Pedro Pascal, who was clearly doing his best to carry the entire show on his back, Season 2 has been absolute trash from start to finish. Boring when it should have been compelling, laughable when it should have been poignant, frustrating when it should have been exciting, preachy, self-indulgent and pretentious. It's everything the game was, but dialed up to 11. And now that it's finally over and we've had the full Season 2 experience, I think now's as good a time as any to reflect on where exactly The Last of Us went wrong. So grab your potato masher and let's explore the top 5 reasons this show went off the rails. Problem number 1, Joel. It's no secret that killing off Joel in the first few hours of the game has gone down in history as one of the worst narrative decisions that anyone's ever made, ever. Well, I said one of the worst. And you'd think that 5 years of fan backlash, alternative suggestions, and endless video essays would have convinced Neil Druckmann to do something a bit different this time around. But nope, there it is, almost beat for beat exactly like in the game, at the same exact point in the narrative. And as it turns out, it was just as unpopular now as it was 5 years ago. Not only did killing off the protagonist of the first season in such a pointless, brutal manner leave a sour taste in people's mouths, but it also left a gaping hole in the show that no other character could possibly fill. The relationship between Joel and Ellie was the beating heart of both the game and the show, and without it, The Last of Us lost that vital element that kept people engaged. It's humanity. And there's really no getting around this. Pedro Pascal was by far the best thing about The Last of Us. Yeah, he's arguably overhyped and overexposed as an actor, and I'm still not convinced he was the best man for the job. But one thing I can't deny is that the guy can fucking act. Pascal brought some much-needed authority, gravitas, and believability to the show, and with him out of the picture, it was up to problem number 2 to carry this show. Which brings me neatly along to problem number 2, Ellie. There are certain unavoidable truths that have to be reconciled in life, dear viewer. 1. True happiness is something that you only recognise once it's gone. 2. Aerith is objectively the better girlfriend for Cloud in Final Fantasy VII. And 3. Bella Ramsey was the wrong fucking choice to play Ellie. Now, I'm not here to shit all over her appearance or hate on her as a person, because that's pretty unfair and mean-spirited. She's just an actor doing a job, and believe it or not, she actually comes across as pretty likeable and down-to-earth in interviews. But the harsh reality is that not every actor can play every role. They have to physically embody the character they're playing, and if they can't do that, they at least have to capture the essence of that character's personality. Clearly, Ramsey doesn't look anything like Ellie, so the first option's right out the window, but she also doesn't have the acting range to embody Ellie either. Her performance ranges from so wooden you could build a log cabin out of it, to so over the top that it makes Nick Cage look like Anthony Hopkins. None of it feels believable. She's laughable when she's trying to be intimidating, obnoxious when she's trying to be likeable, and weirdly disconnected when she's trying to be tender and vulnerable. Much as I dislike the game, one thing I can't deny is that Ashley Johnson fucking crushes it as Ellie, and comparing some of the most iconic scenes, you can't help but notice the massive gulf of talent between her and Ramsey. It's a lethal combination that absolutely kills your investment in the character, and it doesn't help that she's been written as a completely different person from the game. Game Ellie was a broken woman for most of Part 2, completely consumed with revenge to the point where it takes a visible toll on her mind and body. Yeah, it was depressing, but it at least made sense, and it perfectly fit with the theme of revenge ultimately costing both parties everything. TV show Ellie is completely different though. You can practically feel the insecurities of the writers shining through, where they try so hard to make her tough and resilient, where she used to be open and trusting, and instead of being strong and determined, she just comes across as prickly, arrogant, and aggressive. Her relationship with Dina has gone from teetering on the brink of collapse to some idyllic teen romance where they're cracking jokes, smiling, laughing, and fucking like they don't have a care in the world. They never really argue or fall out, they see everything pretty much the same way, and they're both so frustratingly agreeable that you have to wonder why Dina even exists. It makes zero fucking sense, and it leaves you with this horrible nagging feeling that Joel's death really didn't make much of an impression on Ellie at all. Problem number 3, the pacing. The pacing of Last of Us Season 2 is absolutely abysmal. In the games, this was less of a problem because the player was in control most of the time, and cutscenes only came up occasionally to move the story along. Here though, that's literally all we've got, and it doesn't take you long to realise that there really isn't much of a story to tell here, and so a good chunk of the season is just time-wasting, busy work bullshit. How many times do we have to watch Ellie and Dina wandering through a forest or a deserted city, swapping shit jokes and pointless banter that tells us nothing about them, or moves the plot forward, or builds up the worlds? How many tedious sex scenes did they have to cram in that feel completely out of step with two people in a tense survival situation where death can come at any moment? Yeah, there's nothing like being freezing wet, cold, and surrounded by zombie fungus monsters to get you in the mood. There were whole episodes where nothing of any significance happens, and I was bored out of my mind, and it all feels like such a waste of potential. It's the hallmark of self-indulgent hubris on the part of the showrunners, the belief that they're producing such artistic perfection that the audience will just luxuriate in every second of it. It's a show about mushroom zombies, mate. Get a fucking grip. Problem 4, the writing. Everyone in this show is a fucking idiot. From Ellie and Dina just casually biting down. Come on, guys, that couldn't even sound good in your heads. Problem 5. The message. Yeah, you probably knew this bit was coming, and for good fucking reason. The game was notorious enough for being an aggressively pro-current thing, but the show takes it to such a ludicrous degree that it actually becomes laughable. The whole 100-pound actress beating up a bunch of accommodating stuntmen routine has been done so many times that I've become kind of numb to it by this point. But then we're treated to the insane sight of Bella Ramsey, who looks like a small child at the best of times, literally overpowering a man who's at least twice her size and many times her strength. Who the fuck do you think is gonna buy something like this? Like, seriously, guys, did your fight choreographer not put up his hand at some point and say, I don't think this is working, I don't think people are gonna believe this. But the girl bossing doesn't end there, dear viewer. Not by a lot.
You were working on this biopic of Freddie Mercury, and yeah. You worked on.
Follow me.
Okay.
Follow me.
Okay.
I'll go.
Okay.
This way.
Okay.
You stay here.
Yeah.
This way. I'll go.
Okay.
This way.
Yeah.
Bye.